Yeah, 25 feet of 25 inches of snow in the high grounds in Colorado.
Wow.
Okay, we're live. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to HoGaLeSh Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, know your nation, know yourself. And as you were just hearing, Sheila, I think, was just talking about a snowstorm or something like that. We are in those transitional times of year, of course, going from spring to summer. But tonight, folks, so of course, over to my side here, we have Lady G, and of course, diagonal, we have Sheila, and then down under, we have, of course, Dr. Lena Rodriguez. Right, we've got an action-packed show for you tonight. This is gonna be brisk, ladies, brisk, but then we will, yes, brisk, but then we will spend some time on some full card pulls as well for those more in-depth questions. Just to give you an idea of the scope, it's very international tonight. We're going to be going in our esoteric aeroplane to Moscow. We're going to be going to Romania. We're going to be looking at India and Pakistan. And then we've got our questions on the USA. We've got Jack Smith, someone talking about potential earthquake in Pacific Midwest, I think Northwest, they said, and I'll double check that. And then we've also, and then there's maybe a lighter question asking about Trump's gold in the Oval Office. So we are so pleased to see you, of course, this evening. Let's just dive in. We do have people here joining us already. We've got Kathleen saying thumbs up, everyone. So of course, please do. It really helps support the show. And someone's saying here, what's it here? Wow, first time I've been live. Oh, congratulations. Well done, Mary.
Well done, Mary.
Joining us live. Right, shall we dive in? Let's just dive right in. Lots of content to get through. Oh, question. So this isn't actually a question, but I thought I'd just read it out because it's so sweet. So Andrea Gomez says, I have no questions. I just wanted to say thank you and big love to you all. Thank you, HoGaLeSh, Lena, Lady G, and Sheila for your time, wisdom, and humor. Thank you to all the people who ask questions. Every day I send unconditional love and healing to all life everywhere in creation and ask Spirit and the universe to please send it to whomever needs it. Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, that's good. More of that.
Indeed, we need more of that. Much appreciated. So this one is a one-card pull.
Yeah.
And this is coming from Nick Minks, as we know, who is a regular contributor and supplies some very interesting questions. So she says, do the cards show if there's the possibility of an attack on Moscow's military parade? Would be audacious, would be interesting if the cards would show it could happen. I said probably not, but as we've, this time of Algol, Uranus on the start of Algol, the fact that the sun is going to be there as well around the 15th of May too, which deals with leaders. Let's just have a look into the energy of that. It's a one card pull. Any surprises for the parade in Moscow?
Right.
We know Duck L'Orange wants his own one, doesn't he? Gosh.
Yes.
Any surprises for the parade in Moscow? One card pull. Are we ready? All right, after three. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, what's mine?
Interesting. Lena, how do you interpret your card?
Okay, this is the film noir deck, and it's the reckless moment. The reckless moment. So there might be something planned, possibly by Ukraine or other parties or something, but I think it gets thwarted.
Oh, interesting.
The reckless moment.
Wow. Sheila, how do you interpret your card?
Well, mine is the Page of Cups, and the words underneath it are dream and naive. I mean, it's almost like it gives a feel of, Putin, don't be stupid. We could do this if we wanted to. It's almost like he gets a message of, maybe. And he kind of gets a little nervous. It's like that dream. They dream, but the innocence kind of tells me that may not happen. But they do give a good little nudge of, don't be scared.
Wow.
Interesting. Lady G, how do you interpret your card?
Well, there could be sharing and talk about it, possibly.
Interesting. And for me, look at this. I get the Empress, which is my card for Russia. You see how spirit just dials in. I mean, this really is.
I've got to gulp my coffee.
It's just so funny. So I think what the ladies' cards are showing are the back plots, what people potentially would like to do. But with the Empress card, my Russia card, showing up for Putin, who I think is a little bit, he admires Catherine the Great anyway. You never know. There could be some costume somewhere behind closed doors. I think it will be okay because he's so paranoid at looking after stuff.
Yes, he is.
But I think there will be a lot of people talking about it because, boy, wouldn't that be an impact? Oof! Fascinating. All right. Are we ready for the next question?
Yes.
Yeah, right. That's it. We're diving in. So now we're going to go to, where's question number 2? Oh no, what did I do? Oh no, we've done number 2, the second one. Now we're going to Romania. Yep. So we're jumping in our esoteric plane and we're going to Romania. So Nick Minks again on this one, who's very good at providing the international questions. So she says, what does the future hold for Romania as they look certain to elect another far-right crony? Will it see them pull away from the EU? But someone else also asked as well, which I think is Alexandra, and this will be a one-card pull. Alexandra says the Romanian election, it's feeling like a proxy standoff with Nico Surdan, the pro-EU mayor of Bucharest, versus George Simeon, a Russian stooge. The stooge got 40% of the vote, she's saying, in the first round, and Dan just 20-ish. Can Dan turn it around? So what's the energy of the elections in Romania? Are they going to go more to the Russia or the EU? Let's see. One card pull, see what we get.
Let's have a look.
Oh, God. It's like the whole bloody world is just, it's like there's only a right turn on the cars right now, isn't it? Gosh.
Except for us.
Yes.
Canada and Australia.
I can't wait
well
to hear.
done.
What happened? Oh,
Canada and Australia.
Oh, Canada.
After this one, I'll just give you a 1-minute rundown of the Australian election.
Yeah. I haven't looked that up. I forgot to look that up.
It's fabulous. It's fabulous. Are we ready? After 3. 1, 2, 3.
Ooh, mine.
Better than I would have thought.
Yeah.
Looking
Lena,
around everyone's card.
I got the world too.
Yeah.
But it was up down, but I think that was my fault.
Yes.
So Lena, how do
let's hope this means moving more towards the collectivism of the EU and not Russia, but also Trump's appalling behaviour, but more importantly, crushing an economy. No one wants to ally themselves with that sort of path. So this could help the pro-EU guy.
Oh, Sheila, how do you interpret your card?
Yeah, my first impression was that they're going to join the world's opinion of joining the EU and stop all the madness with the conservative, which they are outliers. So that's my first thought too when I got the world, that they're going to join us and not them. So
Lady G, how do you interpret your card?
Well, I have the one of the Lady of Compassion, so I would say maybe they're going to go more towards the EU.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Well, as you guys can see, I've got the star card. Now, we know that this is normally a very positive card. It means the universe has got your back, etc. However, you know that I do have a shadow interpretation of this card, which can also mean the narcissist. And I'm just a little bit worried that the stooge may have the upper hand on this one. Yeah. So that's what I'm worried about. The stooge, but also as well, it talks about these narcissistic personalities, these ones that put everyone else ahead of themselves. So I'm hoping, because the ladies cards outnumber mine in terms of they're quite positive interpretations, and this could be a really positive interpretation, but I'm also thinking of that Pluto in Capricorn energy, and I'm also thinking about the narcissistic thing. So it could be maybe the good side wins and someone cheats. Could be that.
Well, that was my reservation. How are the elections themselves handled? But yeah.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Interesting card. So let's cross that off. That's Romania.
So while you're looking for the next question, I just want to take another moment to enjoy the Australian election result, because not only did it go against the tide and think, we surprised ourselves, right, with the extent of it. Everyone went, really, so it wasn't a shoo-in. And there's a wonderful, well, there's many images going around, but there's a classic, because we have compulsory voting. Everyone has to vote. So everyone turns up wherever they are. And there's a Bondi lifesaver, and he's in his Speedos and he's got his board, and he just rocks up to the polling booth, does his thing. And it's just a great image, because we literally vote barefoot if you're at a beachside suburb,
Wow. But I love that, and I think it's really important, especially in times like this, even though it might sound a bit draconian, like, wow, compulsory voting. But we have seen in recent months, we're still look at where the aftermath of what's happened. Voting is really important. And I think it really should be seen as a civic duty in which everyone participates, because it also, as well, it adds legitimacy to those votes. Because if we think of what happened recently, almost 90 million people did not vote in the US elections.
Exactly. Non-votes decide election, right? And when I was younger, and much more radical than I am now, and I was like, I shouldn't be made to vote, So for a few elections, I didn't vote, and nothing happens. That's the beauty of the Australian compulsory election. You get a letter in the post 6 weeks later saying, we've noticed you didn't vote, and then you get a fine, and then you don't pay it, and nothing happens, right? It's less than a parking ticket, like it's a quarter of a parking ticket. So I think that's a good balance, because it gets people off their asses, off the couch and down to the polling booth, Yeah.
Yeah, it's really important. It's really important. Okay, let me just read out just some little reflections here from people. So thank you, Joanne Marie. Thank you so much for your kind donation. Stay well and safe. My favorite tarot reader, she says. Thank you so much. Mariana says, I'm in the post office listening with my AirPods. Can't miss this. Thank you as well to everyone that is listening to us, watching. Thank you. Keith says, I finally remembered the right time. Good to see you beautiful people live. And thank you to Kathy Blake so much for your kind donation. All right. Are we ready, ladies, for the next question? All right, so this is question number 4, and this is really in many ways a breaking story. And as you guys probably will know, that there has been an escalation between India and Pakistan right now. So India have accused Pakistan of attacking Indian citizens in the Kashmiri region around about the center of the country. But the people of the military and stuff of Pakistan saying, no, it wasn't us. and there's been retaliation. And then India has apparently now bombed Pakistan, and Pakistan said if they bomb Pakistan proper, then that is going to be a real issue, and apparently they have. Just to put another context, someone asked me this question on my Thursday fry-up to pull cards for it, and I got these weirdly positive cards. And I said, guys, I wasn't expecting this. This is just a bit odd, because you could see it was like a party, there was a celebration, everyone was happy. And I was like, But what happened the day after I did that reading? The UK and India signed a trade deal with each other. And I think my cards may have been picking up on that, because I was like, why would there be a celebration? This is what's going on. So the question is will this kind of escalate, basically, this thing here? So Manuela Orchid says,
let's have a little bit of basic background here.
Sure.
So the British Empire, which took over a quarter of the world's population at its height, including India, by the most brutal subjugation. In 1949, the Brits petitioned India. And that's not ancient history. 1949, right, was a few years before I was born. And just, it was so cruel. Families were on either side of this new mythical border. The idea was push all the Muslims to the north, create Pakistan, which is now what you've got is Modi in charge, who's a Hindu nationalist. So he doesn't like Sikh Indians either, because they are opposed more to the caste system of India. He loves the caste system of India, right? Because he's part of the rule, you know, those who benefit. And he hates Muslims. So he has turned a blind eye to the attacks and killings of Muslims on his watch, and they've escalated. So there's a far-right nationalist movement in India, and he loves it. And so that's just a bit of background for people.
And in Pakistan as well, they've got rid of Imran Khan, who was the former top cricketer, who was seen as a more moderating force. And now they basically have a military kind of dictatorship there. So
it's terrible in Pakistan. And the level of education is so poor, particularly for girls, you can imagine. So it's created a much more poor state, you know, than the rest of India. And but my point is, it's an imperialist, colonialist construct that now people have to live through.
Indeed. So the questions that have come through, so Manuela Orchid says, hello and ladies, my question for today would be, if the cards show a total escalation between India and Pakistan with nuclear exchange, hope not, why can't leaders not sit at the table and have reasonable discussions with solutions? Yeah, much love, Manuela. And Nick Minks also asks too, India has launched an attack on Kashmir and some airlines are rerouting to avoid Pakistani airspace. She says, although Hoagie did a reading last week, is this going to be short-lived and sorted out quickly? So let's read on that. I think I'll put this as a full carder. This will be the first full carder of the night, just to see. I want to see what comes out in your cards, because this could be extremely consequential. And they're both nuclear powers. Let's not forget that. Both countries are nuclear powers.
But essentially, it would amount to nuking yourself one way and another. So,
yeah.
I can go if you like, Hogan.
Go for it.
It could go either way from here with this Two of Pentacles, you know.
Wow.
You know, there's a judgment here, whether that's the individual judgment of the major military players, because Pakistan is a highly militarized state, as well as India. I've got a card of conflict here with this Five of Swords. But then what happens? I've got this Five of Pentacles, people out in the cold, and the ships. this could lead to more people leaving Pakistan. Where are they going to go? They're going to go to the UK because that's the passports they've got access to via the old colonial pattern, right? People immigrate with the passports they've got. Then they'll be greeted with the racism of the UK, because I can remember the bashing of Pakistanis back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, right? So I'm not liking this. I think Pakistanis will try and leave. So I think it's not good. But I don't think it'll be I don't think it'll be a nuclear boom. No.
Sheila, what do you have? What cards do you have?
Well, my first card up was the Knight of Swords, the fighting, right? The ambition, the want. And the ambition comes from the religious aspect of it. For some reason, grabs in that thing is like, my God's better than your God kind of a situation. Yep. It was that for wishes fulfilled, archangels, we're better, you're not that. And then I get the Six of Pentacles, which was really kind of weird because that's usually charity. So at some point in time, there's a give instead of a take. And it kind of stagnates. So I think that it's like a push, pull, and then it kind of evens out a little bit. But the intuition of the whole situation is the possibilities of a reconciliation, but they kind of stay in today. Today is a representation of of what they go through every single day. They're all going, this is our life. You know, nobody is expecting any great things anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's what I got.
Very interesting. Lady G, how do you interpret your cards?
Well, first thing going into it, we have this, repression with a message about an action that they just want to, they want to push him back and give him nothing to go. So it's affecting their whole world situation, overturning it, trying to get away with what they're doing to a victory, what they think. But the light is being shed on their dark drama that they're doing. There is the evidence being seen when it comes to the families, and unfortunately, a lot of pain going forward. So it's not going to be solved. This has been going on between the Muslims and the Hindus forever. When I lived there, it's always one is attacking a Hindu mosque, and then the Hindu mosques attack one of the Hindu things. And this is just always going on. But now it's escalating.
Yeah.
Gosh. Fascinating cards, ladies. I've got the victory card as well. But for whom? So if we look at this, there is a lot simmering and bubbling under the surface. Look, we've got the Queen of Cups here. And as we know, the Queen of Cups contains a lot of secrets. Yeah. This can also mean hidden motives and agendas that are not yet clear to everyone involved, including us from the outside looking at the West. I also find it interesting that we get the Queen of Cups here, which is also a water card. And apparently India are threatening to cut off the water supply to Pakistan by cutting off the rivers. Like, wow. Yeah. And we have a water card. And of course, it's a queen. So it means a lot of water. So looking at that. If we look here, we have, what's that? The Seven of Wands, wanting to defend one's position on the hill. I cannot help but think that Modi has got something to do with this here. It's really interesting because India is a power in the world, and it is a rising power. And they have just the UK has just signed a deal, a free trade agreement with India. But I think as India gets stronger, it's wanting to get more assertive in the world. I think this is also as well Pakistan wanting to defend itself as well. They are feeling attacked. Yeah. We have the victory card here, but for whom and for what is the motivation? I cannot overlook that there's going to be a political element to this. And when I did first do my reading on this, I said tariffs are involved. What's going on with Trump's tariffs and India and Pakistan? I said it's part of it somehow. And I think with Trump in power, because Modi, remember, there's quite a strong relationship between Modi and Trump. And Trump is quite revered in India. He's seen as the big, the big guy, the big schlep. Yeah. And I can't help that with his behavior, it's encouraging other people to what? Smash and grab. Because if you can attack Canada, who've done nothing, then you can certainly attack Pakistan if you've got beef. Do you see what I mean? So I think he's seeing it maybe as a potential political victory, using force. This is literally the conflict right now. Yeah, the Knight of Swords. But look, the outcome card is the 7 of Pentacles. Let me just check it is the 7. Yeah, which I referred to as the card of ROI, on investments. This is an element of reaping what is being sown. Division has been sown, but I'm hoping that India and Pakistan could downscale it and maybe try and look at the economic impact and opportunities rather than attacking each other. Fingers crossed. Anything to add to that, ladies? No, we're all good.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next question. So now we're going to look at the USA. So this is coming from Cheryl Renee. And she says, love and light to you, Hoagie, and your delicious damsels of discernment.
That's us.
What amazing. I love that. And they say, my astrological program is showing a large earthquake here in the Pacific Northwest is coming in June. What do the cards show? Oh! So one pull on that.
One card, yeah.
Yeah, let's do a 1 card pull. And let's see what the cards say. If we get things like the Tower, and what else could indicate an earthquake?
The world.
The world. 2 of Pentacles, something shaking, even going like that. Let's just see. All right, let's hope it's not the case. But I just can't help but think there'll be more because Uranus is in Taurus, which is an earth sign. Okay, Pacific. Would there be an earthquake there? All right, are we ready? After 3. Yeah. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Ooh.
There we go.
All right. Lena, how do you interpret your card?
Well, with the High Priestess, many things are unseen, you could say. So I would be very careful in the Pacific Northwest in the sense of be prepared. So I'm not getting catastrophe. Excuse me. Just be prepared. There might be some disruption on the roads or waterways. So, have your pet packs, have things ready, spare water. There might be some power outages or something, but I'm not getting catastrophe.
Yeah. Sheila, how do you interpret your card?
Well, ironically, when I first looked at it, I'm like, balance. That's exactly what the earth does. When it has friction, it lets it go and balances itself out on a regular basis. That's what the scientists call it, is it balances it out. So I do think that the earth is going to balance itself out, but also I don't feel like it's like horrible. It's like shake, 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 shake. Few things go on. 3 or 4 days later, everybody's kind of back to normal.
Lady G, how do you interpret your card?
Well, there could be something coming because I got the card of theft. So if we had some sort of a major thing, they would be, again, breaking in and stealing theft. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My card, it seems hugely optimistic, but but when I read on Pakistan, I had very optimistic cards as well. So when I look at this, I mean, this is the Ace of Cups, so it talks about wish fulfillment and happiness, etc. So I'm not getting earthquake vibes with this. There could be something, maybe it's something like what happens in San Diego, and there is a tremor. But you know what? You know what this could mean, though? It may not be earthquake. That could mean tsunami, no?
Well, it's
Ace of Cups, water
comes
overflowing.
Tsunami comes because of an earthquake under the ocean.
Yeah. Under the ocean. Bloody hell. Could it be that? Because like this is like overflowing. It's a water card. And it's like the fountain is gushing up. So obviously, look, I hope it doesn't happen. But if it does, it could be something to do with the water. Like it's either a tsunami kind of thing, or maybe some volcano comes out of the water. But I have a feeling water is a big part of it. Hence the Ace of Cups. Oh, gosh.
And Winnie says, I live in the Pacific Northwest and our lights have been flickering and power glitching.
Really? Oh, that is it's a bit of a concern, that, isn't it? Oh, gosh, let's see. And thank you, everyone, for joining us right now. Please be sure, of course, to like and subscribe and share to help this channel grow. Be much appreciated. And so far, we've got 2,296 of you with us right now. So thank you so much. And Leslie, thank you so much for your kind donation. And Ham Stanton, thank you so much as well for your kind donation. Much appreciated. All right, so are we ready for our next one? So this is a full card pull. So we're going back in with a full card pull. We're doing very well on time. And let's talk about Jack Smith. We've not spoken about him for a while. It's kind of gone off the radar, really, since the election. And I just thought, I'd like a full card on this one. So this is coming from KMY. I'd like to know what Jack Smith is up to. Will he aid in America's eventual turnaround? Full card pull. I want to see your full talents, ladies.
Jack Smith down the channel. Jack Smith.
Oh my God. I mean, if he was still prosecuting things, I mean, his inbox would just be absolutely overflowing, wouldn't it? The stuff that Duck Larange has done since he's come in is just astonishing. Jack Smith. Can he still be a factor? Jack Smith, assist. Jack Smith. Jack Smith. All right. Who's ready to go first? While you're picking, I'll just read out a few more comments if people are still picking. Foggy says, evil and greed are trending. Yes, with these horrible people. Someone says, Kathleen says, our words affect our world. Watch what you say out loud. It affects all on earth. That's very
good
interesting.
Reminder.
Yeah. Mercury Angel says, Canada and Australia rock. And yes, and we've got more things. So who is ready to go?
I can if you like.
Go for it. Go for it, Lena.
Okay. So Jack Smith, he went off the radar here with the Six of Swords, understandably, because he didn't know if the goons were going to come and arrest him in the night in front of his children, but he hasn't gone away. Here's the Hermit. So he's gone underground. He strikes me as someone who doesn't get all volatile and shouts at people, he would go underground, and he's still very motivated by justice and injustice. Right. So I would say from those cards alone, he's still working on the legals behind the scenes, you know, taking files, etc., copies of files, because if they're stolen by absolutely everyone and left in bathrooms, you may as well have a copy jack. So I think it's a bit like that. This King of Pentacles I wasn't sure about, but I think it represents the new leader post-Trump. I love that sentence. But look, but because of the way the system works, it could be a Republican, you know, should anything happen to the Getty, etc. So this is still someone motivated by money, but a change coming. And then people can start to work together on what has happened in the system from a legal point of view that never got dealt with during the Merrick Garland time. And I'm loving this Sun outcome. So an exposure of all that stuff that never got to see the light of day will see the light of day at some point.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Sheila, what do you have?
Well, I have a you know, Lena just explained my cards, but anyways. So my first step was the Chariot. He's moved on. He gathered his things and he moved on, right? And then he got the Star because that was what was against him. There was too much spotlight on him. He too also had that fear of what Trump was going to do. So he took himself out of the thing. However, he's a Gemini just like Trump is. So he knows how to play his game. And he has that world, the completion. He has that, if I'm a Gemini, they're Geminis. If they have anything like me, we have to complete things. We can't leave things hanging out. He needs to finish this. And that's kind of how I feel like he needs to do that, because I got the King of Wands. He's a leadership in something. He's a leadership in an investigation, bold, daring. He doesn't hold back. He's like, I got nothing to lose type of a thing. And here was my best part, because I couldn't figure out my outer space lies, right? And did it. He's like, the outer space, that means all of his lies and Trump's lies and all that are going to be outer space exposed. But this is my favorite one. He has a debt to pay with the devil.
Yeah.
Meaning he has his devil to catch.
Yep.
He knows it.
It's like he's the Elliot Ness of this era, you know.
Yes. So I don't think that he's given up. He's going to do it the right way. He knows how to do it the right way. But I really don't think that he has given up on catching his prey.
Fascinating. And Lady G, what did you get?
For the time he had to leave, he left the U.S., but he's still concerned with justice and has a lot of concern with what's taking place. So the energy coming into it is about, he sees what's being given out. He wants to bring an end to it by moving forward, taking action. What's going on now, he's got the lid on some things, but there is an absolute agreement as to the pain and the drama that's going on here now. So the challenge is bringing balance when it comes to the dark elements of government and all of those that are involved in it now. So potential outcome, he's done the investigations and he's looking at the thefts, the takeaway. He's got the evidence in hand, extra information. There will be a victory when it comes to going forward, because he's got the strength of the evidence behind him.
Wow. That was
Wow.
epic. Yes.
Oh my gosh, that is quite something. That is quite something. I've got similar cards, but again, they're coming up with quite a subtle message here. So straight away, I get the High Priestess, and we know this is the card of machinations, etc. I think what Jack Smith has been exposed to, because I think almost all of you got the card of having to turn away first.
Yes.
Yeah. If we look at the undiluted douchebaggery that is happening right now, of course he needs to cover himself. I think he was exposed to so much more of the secret machinations going on within the government, which may have even shocked him. We, of course, don't know him and his life, but imagine all the subtle threats he may have got, or the,
or not so subtle.
Exactly, or not so subtle. There's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes. If we look here, though, I think this is really representing him. He's shrewd, he's tenacious, but he is feeling beat up. I think he's feeling a bit shaken up by the experience. I suspect he probably felt he didn't get as much support as he would have liked for his investigation, because this isn't the kind of, and he didn't. Yeah, he felt like in many ways he's probably battling on his own. Yeah, trying to bring this justice about. We get here the Six of Cups, which of course can be the card of nostalgia. This could be talking about a nostalgia that he may have had for when the rule of law was, really strictly followed in the USA. There can be that, but this can also tell me as well there may have been may have been considerations for his family as well. There may have even been family threats. Yeah, it wouldn't shock me at all. However, just like with Lady G's card, I get Temperance as well. I think he's still committed to finding that balance in the United States, wanting that rule of law. He wants equilibrium to come back to America. However, though, I think when I've been reading on Jack Smith in the past, this card came up several times. He is looking internationally. I think he's probably looking to base himself somewhere internationally. Maybe people have spoken about The Hague. Didn't he come from The Hague? But I think he's looking at international options to maybe lick his wounds and then maybe come back kind of re-empowered in some kind of way. So my sense is I think he's got a lot of information, but I feel like it's a wait and see. I feel like he's waiting to see how the balance of this new administration will play out, and is looking internationally for now. But I think he will still come back to with his evidence, with his potential bombshells, if he can. But I feel like he's stepping back a bit now because it's just a little bit too, Anything to add to that, ladies?
Well, the international aspect could be that he's also working on some international condemnation of what is happening in the US, not just within. Yes.
Very good point. Very good point. I'll just read out some more contributions from everyone. So Sharon was saying, I hope the Cardinals follow suit in terms of in regards to Canada and Australia. So congratulations, Lena, and all of Australia on the wonderful election result. Catherine says, that's wonderful. We need to do that in the United States. It's an honor and a civic duty, I think, in terms of compulsory voting. Towel Ready says the Dems need a good PR firm, but Bernie and AOC seem to have a good thing going. And then we've got one here which is a bit of a critique of the Dems. Sorry that the thingy bob's so wide. I'll read it quickly. Sorry, ladies, you've kind of vanished behind it. Mercury Angel says the Dems need to get rid of Jeffries, Schumer, Fetterman, Pelosi, and all those over 70. They're saying the young people have the energy and will to fight. The Dems have an upper hand but do nothing, they say. So what are your thoughts, on that, ladies, like, how do you feel about the Democratic response, apart from AOC and Bernie Sanders? But how do you feel how the Democrats are responding overall? And Lady G, I'll start with you and go reverse. How do you feel?
Well, it's a tough position. They're, try to do as much as they can, but let's face it, they're underwater. There's not a whole lot they can do until after midterms, and they have more power in the House and the Senate.
Yes, fascinating. Sheila, what's your response to the Dems? What do you think about them?
I think there's a fine line between which party is going to be crazier that day. Either the Democrats are going to overreact and get in the bed and get in the face and all of that and look like we're the Republicans, or the vice versa. When the Democrats are in charge, that's what the Republicans do. So there's that fine line of overreaction. Now, we do have some great and wonderful people who are in the House of Representatives that we follow. They're funny. They're great. I mean, Jasmine Crockett. There's also another guy. I mean, we have some really great stars. We really do. Now, do I think that the ones that are older need to go? I do. I've always thought that. I always thought that there should be term limits and age limits. I mean, we can't just commandeer, a thing, because the ones that are 70 and 80 years old, they're still behaving like the 70 in the 70s. The Democrats and the Republicans were different in the 70s and the 80s than they are today. So we do need some younger younger Democrats in there to facilitate a move forward. I agree with that. But we also need wisdom. We need somehow, some way to facilitate the wisdom too, because Pelosi has some wisdom.
Yeah.
She knew how to manipulate, and I loved it. And she knew how to manipulate with a standard, and I fully was behind her the whole time.
Lena, how do you feel about the Dem response?
Well, I think all of that, in the sense that with age, as someone who's nudging 70 myself,
I could never believe it.
I know, but the point is, you get to a point that they should be becoming mentors and not the face of this stuff. Huge wisdom, a lot of stuff to impart, but let the next gen flourish and captivate. Because if you don't have the youth vote, you don't have a future democratic society, because we know statistically, if people don't vote when they're young, they rarely pick it up later. And the opposite is also true. If they vote young, they tend to stay in the system. So although this last election for Kamala, there were some 70 and 80-year-olds who said, I haven't voted before, or I haven't voted for years, or that's the exception rather than the rule. So, yeah, let the next second tier off the leash, please, Dems.
Yeah. And I would say my opinion is sort of like a combination of all of yours. I recognize the pickle that the Democrats are in terms of like sheer firepower, in terms of voting power. Yeah, because we know the GOP have the executive in Duck L'Orange, they have the House just, and they have the Senate. My beef there, and that obviously has real practical kind of implications. My beef is when the Democrat, like for example, when you had 10 Democrats in the Senate help vote through this that bill, when it was one bit of major leverage that they had.
Yeah,
that for me, I think that will go down in history. I really do. I think that will go down in history, because the consequences, the domino effect of this bill, if it's executed anywhere close to what it could potentially be, that's going to be a stain. I think it's going to take a long time to get rid of. I think
about the voting bill or something, because that was dead.
Yeah,
Boomer and the others reluctantly reluctantly
They all
gave their vote to an $880 billion spending cut. No.
Yeah.
It's
So
now on the
that's
book.
what I was talking about, because they don't have the math, but that was an opportunity, let's just say, to push back. That was an opportunity which I think was missed, and I think it's deeply unfortunate, and I think that will be looked back as historic. People don't realize it yet, but it is. However, the Democrats have tremendous talent. Of all the parties, we all know the Democrats have the talent. They've got AOC, they've got Bernie Sanders, they've got Jasmine Crockett, they've got Pete Buttigieg. It goes on and on and on. They've got all of these stars.
Well,
and
Bernie's
in a way,
an independent, but yes.
Bernie's an independent, but but he's working together with AOC. So they've got this great talent. And for me, it's kind of like the Democrats are the star card in its positive sense. But I just feel like it's a light that's under a bushel. They've not been given full reign. And for me, it's not in proportion to the gravitas of the situation that we're in. Extraordinary. They have passed, the House recently passed, didn't they, that American citizens can be deported now. Like, this is, we're in Scaryville here. So I just feel unleash the talent, support them. I agree with Sheila, have some kind of reasonable term limits. Maybe it's like 65. There should be mentors, push that talent out and give an opposing energy that is equal to the monstrosities that we're seeing. That's my opinion there.
And I think each and every one of them should earn minimum wage, period.
Well, that's a good point. But also, because America is a complex, it was 50 little countries, really. AOC is not going to take North Dakota, right? So you've got to have your good people in their regions. AOC is great in New York and Florida, but you have, remember when the Tennessee Three stepped forward, those three young Dems from Tennessee were national news for like 3 days because of something that was happening. They need to be talking to their people. So it's not a one size fits all. You need local to stitch the tapestry together and then have a visionary on top.
Yeah, that'd be really good. I hope.
And Jerry made a good point in the comments. It's a quote from Plato: "Silence gives consent."
Yes.
Yeah.
2,000 years ago, and here we are. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Rose Blue, I want to thank you as well for your kind donation. Much appreciated. It says man's cheese done flew off his cracker, but I'm not sure who's that referring to. And then someone else here says, Grace says, it won't matter if we can get the people to understand that what we're fighting for, instead of being condescending and better than thou, talk real talk with the middle class. Yes, there's also that as well. It needs to be in language that people get it. There's so many mistakes that the GOP are making. And if it's put in like the language, but they have to fight fire with fire. So I like with Jasmine Crockett, she's prepared to get a little bit dirty, a little bit street, and she cuts through the noise. And that's where the politics is now.
I have always said that I think the Democrats talk above and over everybody. I mean, that's the time when they were talking, I had to look up 9 out of 10 words that they were saying. And I'm like, this cannot be productive for you to keep on using legal jargon that none of us understand. I'm like, and I'm not trying to dumb it down, but speak like we speak.
Clearly, yes. And that's what I mean too, Sheila, region by region, because there's different trigger words in different places and also for different classes of people, because then everyone gets it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's important. It's a really good point, Sheila.
Yeah.
Indeed. Right. Wow. That was that proved quite impassioned debate, didn't it, from the panel folks there? Everyone.
Does Lady G have something to say? Because it looks like she might have something to say.
Well, yeah.
She's seen it all, have you not, Lady G? You've seen it all.
And Lady G, of course, as well, gave a contribution as well. But fascinating. It's a complex issue, isn't it, folks? And we like to try and get into the weeds sometimes on specific topics. Right. So let's see, because we're going for time. So 2 1-card pulls. Let's get 2 1-card pulls in. Now this one is coming from how do I say that? Terry Mullins. Terry Mullins said, not wanting to start folks hoarding, but how long should we prep for, assuming some empty shelves in stores, which is happening already? I have enough to share should my neighbors have needs. So let's do a 1-card pull on that. Preparations. Many of you will know that shipping from China in particular has dropped dramatically. They say 35% by the end, by this month's shipping, and then 40% after that. So you can imagine that's going to be a lot. So what can people do without hoarding, but what advice can we start giving people if there are empty shelves? What do the cards share? 1-card pull. All right, after 3. 1, 2, 3. Ooh. So Lena, how do you interpret your card?
Ace of Wands is take action. Take action now. You guys are smart. You know what's meant by all of that. Yeah. Be proactive.
Yeah.
Perfect. Sheila, how do you interpret your card?
The 7 of Wands, without the words, we all know that the 7 of Wands, it talks about being self-sufficient and taking care of yourself and being proactive. I harp on this all the time. Grow your own food, right? And then share with those who cannot, to help everybody out. But definitely, and also there's one thing down here that says stand your ground, meaning that don't fall for everything, but always make sure that you're prepared.
Good advice. Lady G, how do you interpret your card?
Well, it's a kind of self-explanatory. There will be some things ending that you will not be able to get. So if it's something that you can bring in that you need, get it now.
Yeah, really good advice. And here I get the 4 of Wands. This is about stabilization, reaching a milestone. It deals with the home, the hearth. So I think this is about because Wands can also talk about entrepreneurship. I think this might be about cottage industries. Industries. The 4th house can also talk about the mother, the grandmother. This might be the time to dig out those old recipes. You remember that mom and pop used to talk about once upon a time? I think this is about making the home your foundation, having everything you need at home without panicking, but your home and your base is going to become very important for your security. So prepare, don't panic, but prepare. Yes, and grow stuff. You notice here, there's a garden here as well. There's a lot of growth here. So yes, grow stuff. All right, let's squeeze in one more. And in fact, let's ask a bit of Shakespeare as well, because we've not done Duck L'Orange for a while. So this person, I'll just read it out. It says, at SFW 1964. So I don't know who that is. And they say, all that 24-karat gold frou-frou stuff that Trump put in the Oval Office, did he steal it from Fort Knox?
Well, that's actually a legit question, because he broke it. Like, he went to Fort Knox. I mean, there was a commentary about him going to Fort Knox.
And didn't he go with Elon?
Yeah, something like that. Well, you know,
Yeah.
to be honest with you, Fort Knox has been rumored to be emptied for a very, very long time.
Yeah, there are those rumors.
Yeah, but you know, I did a remote view very, very quick here. I did a remote view of what was in his ex-wife's casket, and I remember all of the rumors how that she was ashes, so she shouldn't have been that heavy, but the guys are struggling. And I remember sitting in, like, I remote viewed, and I sat in the car in it, and I looked around. I'm like, there's gold bars in here.
Yeah.
Wow.
He buried, I was like, that's what it was like. He buried gold bars in her casket on his property so nobody could come take it. I thought that was weird. But anyways, enough with the stories.
Wow. All right, so we're ready. After 3. So the question is, all that 24 karat gold frou-frou stuff that Trump put in the Oval Office, did he steal it from Fort Knox? All right, after 3. 1, 2, 3.
What's mine? Mine says Thieves Highway.
No!
Oh
No! You are joking.
Mine is.
What does your card say? Oh my God.
That's sensational. Well, mine is the Knight of Pentacles, slow, steady, practical, and reliable. What would be reliable? Fort
Well,
Knox.
it's also the mercenary. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my-
Lady G, what did you get?
Lady G.
Well, mine is the Dark Passage in the chariot. So yeah.
Oh my God.
You know, sometimes these one card pulls, you know, you just read one of these questions and I just thought, screw it, let's just put it in. I'm just curious. And then the cards come out with some, but look, my
Look
card
what you've got.
look,
Yes.
illusions and
In
delusions.
gold. In gold.
In gold spangles, like Trump wants to try and basically recreate, you know, the Kremlin or the Hermitage in the Oval Office with all of that gold. But you know what? Would he be able to resist? Honestly, if he went there and he saw that, he wouldn't be able to resist, would he?
Absolutely.
He wouldn't be able to resist those gold bars. He
And
loves
they probably
gold.
have them in shelves or something, or vaults or something, and it's empty behind anyway, you know, like.
Yeah. Well, there you are. Shall we do a quick finish with the bard to see what the bard thinks of Duck L'Orange at this
Yes,
stage? We've
let's
not
do
had
it.
the bard
Let's
on him
update
for a
everybody.
while.
Yeah.
So what does the bard think of Duck L'Orange since inauguration? Yeah, let's ask that. Who read last time? Is it Sheila? Is it you or Lady G? Oh, right. You're saying it's Lady G.
It's Lady G's turn.
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. All right, Lady G, you know the routine. Tell me when to stop, and we will get the bard's opinion of Duck L'Orange since inauguration.
Stop.
Oh, all right. Oh, interesting. Okay, so on one page, this is really interesting. This is from the Comedy of Errors. And this is what the bard thinks of Trump since he's been in. A fortune teller, a needy, hollow-eyed, sharp-looking wretch, a living dead man.
It never disappoints.
I think that says it all. Isn't that fascinating? From a comedy
I love the fan.
fortune teller.
Never.
A fortune teller, a needy, hollow-eyed, sharp-looking wretch, a living dead man. Wow. Bard never fails.
Ouch.
And there you have it.
You don't want to get on the wrong side of the
Yeah,
bar.
indeed.
You really don't.
Oh my God.
Well, guys, as you can imagine, the time has gone. And I hope even in these rather weird and unusual times that we've been able to give you a laugh. over 2,500 of you have joined us live. Thanks so much for joining us here live. Please, of course, be sure to like and subscribe and share. And I hope we were able to give you a giggle in what has to be one of the strangest times in political history. It really is odd.
Absolutely.
But we will be back with you next week. Huh?
I just wanted to leave you with this. Remember the blue suit at the Pope's thing, right? His little scandal. You know what we got out of that? Alcatraz. He wants to open up Alcatraz. So he had to throw the attention off of his blue suit and his actions at the Pope's funeral, and then he gave us Alcatraz.
And he watched it. Someone said he watched it on PBS TV or something. He watched it on Florida TV, and that's when he got the idea. Oh my gosh. Anyway, we will leave it there, folks. So we will see you next week. Big love to everyone. Keep putting one foot in front of the other and get those plant pots in. Yes. You can grow herbs in old tin cans. Anyway, we'll see you for now. Bye-bye, everyone. Ciao, ciao.